Right.
Okay, good evening. We're dedicating the shiur to Shlom Chayalei Tzahal and all the Kochot HaBitachon and to all the hostages in Gaza. May Hashem bless them in strength, their families with strength, and to all Am Israel's success in his war. Let's deal this time with Noach. As I said last week, Parashat Bereshit encompasses so many subjects, and all the humanity and all the world is wrapped in these psukim. But Parashat Noach may be in a second place, but still has so many things that we have to discuss. And today we'll deal with Noach's being drunkard after the getting out from the teva. And we'll deal with the personality, not so much with drunkenness, but just with his general personality, as we can see from the psukim. So let's start with the psukim at the beginning. You're familiar with the famous Rashi, the famous Perush, that אלה תולדות נוח, נוח איש צדיק תמים היה בדורותיו. So Rashi makes a comparison between Avraham Avinu and Noach, that Noach was Ish Tzadik Tamim Bedorotav in his generation, but the Katuv, the Apostle, comes to say that had he been in another generation, he wouldn't have been mentioned as a tzaddik, because he wasn't a real tzaddik. He was just, in comparison to his generation, he was a tzaddik. And the famous question is, why did Chazal find a way just to curse Noach and not to praise him? And we have to see the whole situation in which Noach is, because we know that Noach is 500 years, and then he has 100 years, actually he has 120 years, till the Mabul comes, okay? HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him explicitly, ואני מביא את המבול מים לשחט כל בשר, and then ויאמר השם לנוח בוא אתה וכל ביתך אל התיבה. What is he doing all over the years? Here Larry is join us. What is he doing all over these long years? So he comes and tells people to repent, לחזור בתשובה, and they can join him if they do it in the ark. What's the percentage of his success? Nothing, okay? Nobody. We don't know anybody that joined him in the ark, okay? So it's mamash not a good rabbi or not a good preacher or whatever you call him. He started with the, I don't know how humanity, how big was humanity by then, but at least thousands and thousands of people, and even one he wasn't successful in letting him be in the ark. And the question is why? And the question, were they so bad and so evil that Noach, even with his tzadikut, couldn't succeed? Or that Noach's personality was not enough to succeed? And then we have to ask why. So I can give two ways or two attitudes why Noach couldn't make other people repent. And the famous question, the famous answer to this question is because he wasn't charismatic. We know that if you are a good preacher, a good machzir b'tshuva, you have to be a very charismatic person. Sometimes you say things that are not even true, are not a pshat, or just a part of interpretation. But if you say it loudly and with confidence, so then people hear you and decide that that's a way. Sometimes we're aware of people that make the way back after years, because they didn't, at the beginning, they were just affected by the strength and the person was so sure in what he was saying that they didn't check what he was saying, and they didn't check if it fits them or not. After a few years, they see that it didn't fit them. But at the first glance, they are so good evening, Mr. Tillis. They are so impressed by his personality that they join him. How can I know that Noach wasn't a strong person? And first of all, by the totzah, by that he couldn't succeed in anybody. But you can see it from many ways, and we'll see it throughout the parsha. Let's start. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, עשה לך תיבת עצי גופר, קינים תעשה את התיבה, וחפרת אותה מבית ומחוץ בכופר, וזה אשר תעשה אותה, so you should build a big ark with a lot of dimensions, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, צוהר תעשה לתיבה. What does it צוהר mean?
A diamond, a jewel, or
okay.
a skylight.
Okay, so you say Rashi brings two perushim from the Midrash. Tzohar either means diamond, it's not a pshat, but okay, well, why did he need a diamond? Okay, so you can say, okay, that Noach took in his ark all the wealth of the world, of the ancient world, all the zebras, the lions, the snakes, whatever. So he took, today he would take, one check with $1 billion. So he took one big diamond. That was the wealth of the ancient world. I'm not kidding. It might be an interpretation, but
he couldn't take a check because where would he cash it?
Where did he use it? Okay. I mean, I didn't really mean HaKadosh Baruch Hu can give him all the wealth he needs, but it takes something from the old world. That's what I mean. Okay, it takes something that symbolizes a light of that existed somehow in the past and no longer exists, or I want to reuse it or something like this. That's one interpretation, but I don't want to deal with it. I want to deal with the second. You said like a small window. Okay, you used a different word. And it's interesting, just Ramban says, Sohar Leshon Sohar. There is no difference in Hebrew between the tzaddik and the samech, okay? Because they come from the same place. So Sohar mean Bet HaSohar. What does Bet HaSohar, jail, what does it mean?
He's confined.
Yeah, fine, but in ancient times, the Bet HaSohar wasn't very nice like today. It was a bore, chafira, right? Digging in the ground, and you put, like Daniel is put in Gov Arayot. So without the Arayot, what does Gov means? Just a digging in the ground, and on it you have, the only thing that you have is just a small window, and if it's a day, you have daylight. If it's night, so you go to sleep. You have nothing to do. So the Ramban says that Sohar and Sohar comes from the same place, because the Teiva, we look at the Teiva like one palace that existed in the flood, but we can look at the Teiva, and we'll speak about it later, as a big jail, because to all the humanity, it was just a jail of 1 year. And we know that afterwards, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Noach, Tzeh min hateiva. We'll see it in בהמשך. And what does it mean, Tzeh min hateiva? So the Midrash Rabbah has two interpretations. One, that Noach was very patient. He listened to everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him. He didn't do anything without being told. And with this interpretation, I can see why he was different than Avraham, because Noach, as his name symbolizes, is very Noach, okay? He's very comfort. He doesn't do things. He's not an active person. He does everything perfect, but just what is being ordered. Some of my kids, if you don't tell them, so the kitchen will be left without cleaning, nothing, because you didn't tell me explicitly what to do. Okay, they just do when you talk to them explicitly, and that's a problem of Noach, that he's a very Noach person. He doesn't initiate anything, and if he sees that the world is going to a bad place, he doesn't tell anybody, but because HaKadosh Baruch Hu had ordered him. And when you come and just tell about the risks, about the problems, about the things, bad things that would happen, you don't talk from your own heart. You don't care for others. You don't initiate. You don't create things to do for others. People get affected, and they understand that you don't care for them. And therefore, Avraham Avinu so succeeded because he cared for others, while Noah was just doing and waiting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's order. So even if HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given him the order that in 120 years I'm making the flood, but he did it just because of the order. And some religion, if you are religious and you give people, you tell people do things, do mitzvahs just because of religion, you don't care for them, so therefore they don't care you. I remember one of my rabbeim in yeshiva that some people came and asked for tzedakah from him, and he didn't give them. And we're, very upset because it looked like very not nice. Why somebody comes in front of you and asks for tzedakah? And he said that this person, if he doesn't need tzedakah, he doesn't care for me at all. Let's say that now we have a war. He doesn't come to my community. He doesn't say, Baruch Hashem, now we see many all over Am Yisrael, they share in Tehillim and share in Chesed, but sometimes they don't do it. So why should I, if he doesn't care for me, the only thing that he needs is just tzedakah, so he doesn't really need me as a person. He needs me as a means for making a mitzvah. He says, okay, there is a mitzvah of tzedakah, I'll be mezakeh you. You should give the tzedakah to me, and then you'll be mezakeh. But he doesn't care for me. And that's why he didn't want to give him at all. I think that Noach had the same personality. Noach came from a perspective of not doing anything without being told. And therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to tell him, go get out of the teva. And that's why he didn't succeed. But let's go back to the second perush there in the Midrash Rabbah. The Midrash Rabbah says that not only Tzeh min HaTeiva, Noach was in jail, okay? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, Tzeh min HaTeiva, according to the second perush, it wasn't that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to force him to get out. Noach wanted to do it himself because he was הוציאה ממסגר נפשי להודות את שמך. This pasuk is interpreted about Noach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Noach asks HaKadosh Baruch Hu, הוציאה ממסגר נפשי, take me out of this big jail. What should I do afterwards? I would thank you. בי יכתירו צדיקים כי תגמול עליי. That's a continuation of the pasuk. And Noach said, tzadikim will crown me, okay, or will use me as their crown, if you do good things with me. What does it mean? Coronate me, or they use me as a crown. So some of the mefarshim say, it's Yosef on the Midrash says that we'll use him in the tefillah. That we know that in Rosh Hashanah we say v'gam et Noach be'ahava zacharta. We mention him in the psukim of parasha of Zichronot, even though that in Zichronot we talk just about the good memories of Am Yisrael, and Noach is before the period of time of Am Yisrael because Noach means the whole mankind. Even though it's an exception, and we use Noach. Why? So it's because of Noach. He was in jail, and he asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu to get out of jail in order to praise Hashem. And then tzaddikim all over the generation will mention him as a one who succeeded to be in jail. And the question is, who are the people that succeed in jail? Some people, if you put them in jail, they
Carnegie.
Pardon?
Carnegie endoscopy, Ndoscopy.
Oh,
so some people, if you put them in jail, it's very difficult for them, and unfortunately we know about the hostages, and some people are very, very strong. Okay, so we see here from this midrash that Noach himself wasn't strong enough. Let's look at your situation. You're the only family who HaKadosh Baruch Hu saves and tells them explicitly that to get into the ark, and all the world you see, you know, that is being thrown away because of the flood, and yours just in order to thank Hashem, you don't need to get out. You can thank him from the Me'i Adaga, like Yonah. And even though, according to this midrash, Noach doesn't praise Hashem, he wants to get out. So this is a person that can live just where the world is white, where the world is good, where there is no evil in the world. But if chas v'sholom there is evil in the world, he knows that there is flood outside. So even his own situation is bad. He cannot solve it. He waits till the minute after the war. And we are now in the war. We can think that we just want to get to the minute after the war. It's Bezrat Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do it. But if we live like this, what is our avodah Hashem now? HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to put us in a terrible situation, so he wants something for us. He wants you to pray now. He doesn't want you to say, do me good and then I'll praise you. No, HaKadosh Baruch Hu now needs your tefillot from the bad situation, and Noach is not a person to be able to do it. And that's another reason of the difference between him and Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu is a person of the good and the evil. He can encompasses, he can lehachil, he can contain all the evil as well. Therefore, he's not judgmental about the evil. When people come to him with avodah zarah, so he tells them, please come, you can be my guest, you can just wash your legs, but it's fine. Yeah, and therefore he can affect people because he's not judgmental, because even if you think differently than him, he can understand you from your own perspective, and he can talk with you, and therefore he can change other people from their own perspective, whereas Noach is just a very narrow-minded religious person. He can live just with the good. If he cannot live with the evil, he cannot live with the choshech, with the darkness. He waits till Otzia mimesger nafshi leodot et shmecha, as the midrash says. He cannot live now, and therefore he cannot live with bad people. He cannot affect them at all. Okay, and that's why he doesn't succeed. Going back to the word tzohar, as I said, tzohar means a window, but with light. But when Noach builds the teiva, it's interesting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him everything, and Noach here says, "Vayas Noach kechol asher tzivahu Hashem." Okay, here you see kechol asher tzivahu Hashem. You see it 3 times at least, meaning to say that Noach is a very obedient person, but nothing more than that. But when he builds the ark, pay attention how is it written. ויעש נוח ככל אשר ציווהו השם, בשנת 600 שנה לחיי נוח, בחודש הזה ב-17 שנה לחודש, וכולי וכולי. And then we know that he had not a tzohar, he had a window. Okay, I don't find it, but later on we'll open את חלון התיבה, נכון? אוקיי. ותנח התיבה, ויפתח נוח את חלון התיבה אשר עשה. וישלח את העינה וכולי ותשב אליו, and then he resends the dove again and again, but he doesn't have a tzohar. He has just a window. What's the difference between window and tzohar? So again, according to the Rashi with the diamond, or the second perush of the tzohar, that it's light, tzohar is not just a window. It's a window that makes the light not only to come from the outside to you, but from you to the outside. Whereas window is just a screen, just a mechitza between you and the world. And if you open it, then the relations between you and the world are done. If you close it, there is a mechitza, there is a screen between you and the world. And I think that symbolizes Noach. Noach doesn't understand what HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him to build a Zohar. And it does instead just a window, just a chalon, because a chalon is just to keep himself away, that he'll have a gate, okay, to flee the dove or the crow to go out. But he doesn't understand that he needs a Zohar. He needs something more than that. He needs something to light the outside world. When Shlomo Melech built Beit HaMikdash, so he made a lot of things, and then he invited Malkat Shva, and it's written twice in Sefer Melachim and Sefer Divrei Yamim. Then she came and was astonished ba'aliyato asher ya'aleh Beit Hashem. Okay, so there are two perushim what she saw there that she was so impressed of. One of the perushim said that she saw that his windows were not just from to make the light comes from the outside into the Beit HaMikdash. Now let's go to Beit HaMishpat HaElyon, to the Supreme Court of Israel. You have very narrow windows, but inside it's wider, and then all the light comes from the outside to the inside. But in Beit HaMikdash it was on the contrary, afuch. The windows were very narrow inside and very wide outside, because they show that the light comes from here, from Beit HaMikdash, from the inside to the world. And the same thing happened with the Teiva. The Teiva, in a way, could be a jail, as we saw, but could be a Beit HaMikdash, could be the whole center of all world. Everything is centered just in this place. All the animals, all the mankind, all the family that all humanity would go out from. And therefore, the yachas should be that we light the world. But Noach didn't want, he built just a window, and therefore he is called, the Zohar called him Ro'eh Shoteh, a foolish shepherd, because the only thing that he cared for the world was just after everything was done. Okay, when he got out of the Teiva, when everything died, when everything was it was too late to help anybody. But Avraham Avinu cared for the world, and we saw two perspectives why Avraham succeeded, because Avraham cared for the world, where Noach didn't care just for himself. He was very obedient. He just did what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, and that's one reason why he couldn't succeed. And another interpretation is that Noach could not understand the evil at all. He just looked on the bright side of life, of the good things that are. His friends were just from the people from yeshiva. His family was just the religious ones of the world. But what are about the others? He said, I don't care. I don't know how to handle them. Whereas Avraham looked at everything like a challenge. Noach, when he was in jail, when he was in prison in the Teiva, he wanted to get out. Avraham Avinu could leave even then and make his own derech, and that's why Noach couldn't affect anybody. Another reason why Noach couldn't affect even one person throughout all many years can be found in the keshet of that HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows Noach coming out after the Mabul. When the Mabul stops, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, זאת אות הברית אשר אני נותן ביני וביניכם, ובין כל נפש חיה אשר איתכם לדורות עולם. את קשתי נתתי בענן. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives his arrow, his rainbow, אוקיי? והייתה לאות ברית ביני ובין הארץ. It's like a covenant between הקדוש ברוך הוא and the world. והיה בענני ענן על הארץ ונראתה הקשת בענן, וזכרתי את בריתי אשר ביני וביניכם, ובין כל נפש חיה בכל בשר, ולא יהיה עוד המים למבול לשחט כל בשר. So the keshet is an omen, is an ot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will never bring again the mabul. Another midrash says, Semina Teiva, that Noach didn't get out from the Teiva, from the ark, till HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised him before he went out that he would never do it again. What does the keshet, what does the rainbow symbolize? So we know, according to, it's the Gemara says that it's not good to look at the keshet. It's a very big question, because we nowadays know that the rainbow is just made of nature. When you have a drop of water and an arrow of light comes through it, so you see a rainbow. So why does it symbolize anything? What does it symbolize? Why is it good? Why is it bad? So I think that it's the same thing that we saw before. What does the rainbow symbolize? When you see a keren or, an arrow of light, okay, that goes into one drop, and then it's split into 7 colors. It means that one light that you look as only one can be 7 other things, and all colors of the world make themselves the one light, and the one light can be shared into 7 colors, meaning the plurality of the world, the pluralism, that we are not only just religious people, we're not only just Noach's people, we have different types of people, even a Mabul. It's true, humanity sinned, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought them a Mabul. But don't think that from now on they'll all be the same. We see that they think again, and it happens with Migdal Bavel in Perek Yud Aleph, the end of the Parshat, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells them explicitly, no, big mistake. You shouldn't think that all humanity should look the same. Humanity should look differently. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Noach that you have to look at good eye on on different people than you. If you have the variety of all the colors of the keshet, of the rainbow, just know that it all comes from a unity, from the big one color, that one light that came into the drop and was shared into 7 different colors. You have to take care not only about your own color, but the colors of all the world. That's one interpretation of the keshet. The keshet means, in addition, not only pluralism, not only 7 types of people, but the hope that HaKadosh Baruch Hu believes in us, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us in advance, before everything happens again, that I believe in you. I really know that you are different people. I know that you have 7 colors. I know that you won't be the same, that even now, after the flood, you'll be different people and you'll think different things, and even though you be human beings, you are all my sons. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu believes in us, and that shows us what Noach didn't have. Noach didn't have beliefs in people. And I think it's connected to what I said before. Noach didn't believe in people because he didn't belong to the people. He belonged to the society that looked like him, that he was that he couldn't bear anything that wasn't like what he wanted. So if there was a flood, he wanted just to get out of the jail, to get out of the ark. Therefore, he couldn't connect with other people, and he couldn't believe in them. And when you don't believe in a person, you cannot affect him, you cannot convince him, You cannot really, if you look at a bad person and you say, you have no, I don't want to talk to you because you have no goal in life and I don't believe that you can change your way. He will never change his way. And maybe that was a failure of Noah. Noah not only was very close-minded and narrow-minded and didn't look at different people, but he didn't believe that they could change, that it could be a color in the big map of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, he didn't change.
I think I think it's explicitly clear from the Torah when the Torah says at the end of the previous parsha that Noach matzah chen be'enei Hashem. Be'enei Hashem he found chen, but not b'nei Adam.
Very nice. So, yeah.
But not-
So you have the separation between the ruach and the chomer. From Noach was just among the religious people, Keilu, Ken B'nei Hashem. He wasn't among the human beings. Very nice. If you look what Noach did, we can see it. We don't have much time, so let's do it בקיצור. HaKadosh Baruch Hu bא and tells Noach, just a minute, where does he tell him to get out of the ark? וידבר אלוקים עם נוח, צא מן התיבה, אתה ואשתך, ובניך ונשי בניך איתך. So it's very clear that HaKadosh Baruch Hu talks about couples, right? You and your wife, your son and his your daughter-in-law, and the other son with his with another daughter-in-law. Okay, and 3 times. Very clear that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to see couples, Ata v'ishtecha, and therefore Rashi, according to the Gemara, says that Noach was forbidden, according to the Midrash, Noach was ne'esar alav, was forbidden in marital relations during the year of being in the ark, and when he got out of the ark, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, now it's permitted. Not only that he told him that it's permitted, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, Haitzeh itach. Okay, so the Midrash says, Hotzeh is not written here, but Haitzeh. Haitzeh is an active, make other to get out. And according to the Midrash, Noach is ordered Pru Urvu and is asked to cheer up other people, to make Pru Urvu, to להתרבות, to be in the world, ושרצו בארץ ופרו ורבו על הארץ. But if you compare pasuk Yudchet to pasuk Tetzayin, you see something very, very, very interesting. ויצא נוח ובניו ואשתו ונשי בניו איתו. So you see the distinction between the men. There is here exactly is a mechitza, okay, in the post, okay. Here just the man, on the left side just the women, okay. It's not what HaKadosh Baruch Hu has ordered him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, Ata v'ishtecha uvanecha unshe vanecha itach, okay. He said vayetze Noach, not with his wife but with his family, with his sons. And the girls, his wife and her daughters-in-laws got out separately. And I think that symbolizes Noach as well. Because, as I said, if you want to be a person that mashpia, that is choshev, that is significant in the world, you have to change all the time the situation. You cannot be a man that just sits in a period of time of shalom, of peace, and then gives speeches to anybody. But if a war comes, you get into the ark and you don't know what to do. And now you have the same thing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, the war is over. The ark is over. Get out of the jail. Go to the world. Live. Know how to live. Get back to life. And Noach is still stiff. He's still he doesn't know how to handle it because till now it was forbidden. Is it permitted from now? So Noach still gets out with his sons and the women differently, and that shows the inflexity of Noach, that he cannot be flexible. He cannot understand the situation. It takes him too long till he gets from one situation to another. And I think it's the same problem why he couldn't succeed. If you look, just to sum up, if you look at Parashat Bereshit, you see the ultimate man, Adam HaElyon, as Nietzsche said, but we see the man that is very close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If I use a phrase that Torah uses in Parashat Vezot HaBracha, I would say Ish HaElokim. Moshe is Ish HaElokim. So we see the man that was created by God and is very close to God, Adam HaRishon, and we see at the end of Parashat Bereshit, we see the Nephilim, we see angels that they come in order to steal Bnot Adam. We talk about a very high level of a person. If we talk about Parashat Noach, we talk about the lower, normal, earthly level of a human being. That's why we see that in Parashat Bereshit we talk about Veitem Keelohim Yodei Tov Hara, and the Adam is naked. Adam finds himself naked, but it comes out of too much Elokut, too much wisdom, too much things that he gathered for himself. He ate from the forbidden tree, and therefore he got the impression that he was naked. But Noach comes from the lower level of a person. That's why in Parashat Noach we find all the human beings' definitions. Shofech dam ha'adam ba'adam damo yishofech. The prohibition to get to make a suicide, the prohibition to murder, the prohibition to spill blood, because it's all belongs to the lower level of the human being, not the Adam HaRishon style, not Ish HaElokim, but Ish HaAdama, as the Torah describes Noach. So we can see Noach and Moshe Rabbeinu as two different people. Moshe Rabbeinu is heavenly, while Noach comes from heaven, because it's Ke'ilu Adam HaRishon. He's the one that created after the Mabul. He's not created by HaKadosh Baruch himself, but he's the only one. But he comes and belongs to Ish Adama. Therefore, the awareness of his being naked wouldn't come out of true wisdom that he gathered out of the eating the forbidden tree, but out of just getting drunk, leaving the world, don't know what's going on with him, and therefore out of this busha, he would feel the busha, the shame of being naked. So we can compare the two people. And we don't have to, we started by comparing Noach to Avraham, but I think another comparison should be between Noach and Adam HaRishon, whereas the first sinned, but he belonged to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the last one sinned, but he belongs to Ish Adama, and it's very disappointing to know that from this one, the reality goes on, but we'll see Avraham as a middle one. He's not Adam HaRishon from the one side, but he's not Noach from the other side. He's a man that tries to improve himself all the time to the Madriga of Adam HaRishon. We'll finish in a second because I think it will be